Hi everybody, Jason the Joy from ATV Guys Magazine. Today I'm with Marc on Great KC. Marc, what's happened today?
What's happened? What's happening today is that we're trail riding with the all new Yamaha Wolverine RMAX 1000. Finally get a crack at this bad boy. Been waiting for it for a month or so. I was lucky that the guys from Yamaha Canada.
Yeah, thanks Yamaha Canada. Thanks.
Yeah. What's it all about? Well, it's a Wolverine on steroids. Remember the history of the Wolverine? Back in 2015 they came out with a sport utility called the Wolverine, which had the 708cc single cylinder engine. Love that thing to death. The design was great and everything. The only thing, the engine was like wheezy. It lacked a little bit of power, especially on top end. Was locked at 84 clicks an hour. Now 2 years later, 2017 comes along. They announced the X2 and the X4, which had a twin cylinder 850cc engine, which was awesome. Like more power, more linear, less vibration. It was all good, you know, all the good stuff that came out all at once. The only thing, 84 clicks an hour, that thing was locked. So but all the rest of the bike was great. What I didn't enjoy was that 84 kilometers per hour. That kind of limited it, because you feel that the frame, suspension, handling, it can handle more speed, but it just couldn't. All in all, under 84 clicks an hour, that machine was great. But now we've got this big boy. This one's got the same similar engine configuration. It's a parallel twin 999cc. Yamaha doesn't talk about power, but from the riding we did with it, we're well over the 100 horsepower. But this thing has gobs of power. It's manageable, and it's mated to an all-new CVT transmission, the Ultramatic transmission that has a wet clutch, centrifugal wet clutch that works like a charm. So what that does is, at idle, the primary CVT does not spin. It stops spinning. It's disengaged. So you can change gears like on the fly with the tip of your fingers, which is actually a breath of fresh air. It's really nice in all conditions. You're in a hill, whatever. As soon as you're stopped, you can change gears like in a pickup truck. Stick. Real easy. I like the way this is tuned. It's mated to a standard CVT transmission, and the tuning is just right for trail riding. Don't try and go racing with this thing. It's not designed for that. This is a trail machine that can do some work. You can actually haul 600 pounds in the bed in the back, and you can tow 2,000 pounds, which is pretty much the industry standard. The gearing is very, very quiet. You don't have any whining or anything. That's because the gears are not straight cut like all usual ATVs and UTVs. So it's much quieter. It's the same cut of gear like in the transmission or front and rear differential as in your car or truck. You don't hear differentials or transmission whine on your cars and truck. That's why. So they went to that. So it makes the gears a little bit bigger, but the trade-off is much smoother operation. So absolutely no gear whine on this thing. Very, very nice. So engine, transmission, gearing, differential, this you have 3 modes. You have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and typical fashion of Yamaha, you have 4-wheel lock. But this one also has another trick up its sleeve. Right here you got a triple mode mapping system. So you got sport, trail, and crawl. So you can do this on the fly. It just manages a throttle response. I have a tendency to prefer trail, especially if you're riding in a trail. It doesn't have a tendency to hit, you know, like pip pip pip. You don't look like a bobblehead. All in all, performance is really awesome for a Yamaha product in this in this segment, performance is awesome. Have you ever seen a Yamaha other than a YXZ do this? The specialty of Yamaha has always been handling, suspension, and they always had a great power steering. So this one as a suspension is the Fox QS3, which are about the easiest to adjust shocks in the business. See, we got a lot of bumps here, and it's soaking them up. So very easy to adjust. There's a position 1, 2, 3, which is soft, medium, hard, and we're at Jason set it up at medium. Could use a little bit more preload, but at least you can adjust it to your liking. It likes steering input, and it's going to respond accordingly. There's some pretty good sized sway bars on this thing. It doesn't have a tendency to roll side to side. You don't notice very much the suspension, the engine. It's all in a sweet package, just nicely rounded out for what the machine is intended to be used at. It's rolling on some 30-inch. On this one is the SE model, so a little bit upgraded model. It's rolling on 30-inch by 10 by 14 Maxxis carnivore radials. Love these tires. Nice and soft, but not too soft of a compound. But it's stiff enough to be precise while being pretty big, because this thing's got huge ground clearance. But when you go like this, you press on it and you get some really nice bumps. It can soak it up. Check this out. The only thing limiting my speed right now is the trail.
Yeah.
It's a wee bit rough. But this thing wants to move. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It can handle these bumps. Like, we're getting some really rough stuff. And this is only a double A-arm suspension. There's no swing arms out in the back. This thing is pretty much of a classic suspension with 17 inches of travel in the back, 14.2 up front. And it's soaking up these bumps pretty darn good. I like this thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
This thing rips.
Yeah.
It just wants to go all the time. It's fun. Woohoo! No, seriously, this thing is awesome. The seats are also very comfortable. The inside, I like the simplicity of the layout, the dash layout. And thank you for putting the speedometer right in front of me. Here you can have the infotainment system. That's a dealer installation, it's a dealer install option. There's lots of switches, lots of stuff that you can add to this thing to make it your own. But apart from that, this thing is a total riot as a trail machine. It's not an X3, it's not a YXZ, it's not an RZR. It's just plain fun machine. It's fun, and it's not hard to drive fast. That's one thing I really like about it. It's easy. It's you don't have to really think about it. Just steer it where you want it, floor it, and it goes. Mind you, it's not a super sport. It's not an X3 like I told you. It's not very super sport, but it's a sport utility. And this is what I love about it, because you can actually carry stuff with it. And if you're going to travel, like here in Quebec, we got like thousands and thousands of groomed trails in the winter, thousands and thousands of groomed trails in the summer. So we got a lot of trails, and you can actually, do some do a lot of tourism. Whoever thought there would be tourism on ATVs? But you can do tourism on these things. So the cool thing is when you ride it, see, hot dang, sorry, I'm having a blast. I didn't think I could have that much fun on this type of UTV. This is so much fun. Just fly me to the moon.
Oh my gosh.
Jason is going bonkers. On camera, I'm sure it doesn't look as fast, but I was really pushing it.
You're too fast for me, Mark. You're too fast.
But this thing's a rough. Nah, it's really fun. Here, let's get through some rough stuff. See how, and really steep hills, Rockies. No sweat. Steep hill. Having the power to do this is so much fun. You know, you don't lack any power to do trails. Like this is like tight trails. You don't lack any power. If you want to floor it, it'll go. It'll spin, spin till you're tired of it. But this thing is really nice. It's really sorted out. It's a brand new model from the ground up, and this thing, it's sorted out. It's sorted right out of the box. That'll be Yamaha for you. These guys can make a serious UTV when they wanna go at it. Remember when they came out with the YXZ? Everybody went, holy! And this is what this UTV should end up like, especially if you like touring or working and doing some serious trails in comfort, because this thing is comfortable. It's like a nice sport lazy boy seat.
Very comfortable.
I love this thing.
I love to.
The only quirk, there's a couple of quirks, like the accelerator pedal is in a funny angle, but once you get used to it, it's okay. But at first, it's weird. That's something I find a little bit weird. The way the angle it goes to. But the rest, I've been riding it pretty hard most of the day today, and we really went at it. I just, you know, the clutch engagement I was talking about earlier is just perfect. It's right on par. It's got some good engine braking, but not too intrusive. So I'm in two-wheel drive right now. When you got it a little bit too intrusive, have a tendency to have the rear slipping around. This one, absolutely not. It's just spot on, perfect engine braking, or near perfect. Talking about braking, the brakes, I like the brakes on this thing. It's a double piston calipers front and back. They're pretty much standard Yamaha stuff. But the thing is the way we apply the brakes with it, there's not too much initial bite, so you don't end up locking up, especially the rear wheels when there's weight transfer, and having the UTV getting unsettled. You don't want the car to be unsettled, especially if you're at speed. And this is where it excels at it. It requires a little bit more pressure, but it's easy to dose, and you won't like overshoot your braking. The braking pressure you want it to add and lock up the wheels all the time. It's nice, and it's balanced front to back. That they did a great job. There's some machines out there that have a little bit too much initial bite, especially on the super sport side, and that has a tendency to unsettle the machine if you want to go fast. But for trail riding, this thing is like, it's very nice. very, very nice. I don't want to say perfect all the time and all this stuff. No machine is perfect. But this one does exactly what you want it to do. And it does it nicely. Does it in a nice way. It's almost friendly. But when you step on it, it just has a tendency then to change from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. It's something that I appreciated a lot from the Polaris General, the General series. Those, in my view, are the right until today. Those were the absolute best, and they still are. Sport utility, touring rigs. There's also the Arctic Cat, a Havoc, which for some reason is simply not catching on. And Arctic Cat, I don't know why they don't put more effort into that platform, because it's really awesome. It's nice and powerful. It'll keep up with a General all day. But this thing will keep up with a General, will keep up with a Havoc, no sweat. In certain levels, it's going to be as good or superior in certain areas. Power-wise, I think they're pretty much on par. The power delivery is different. It's the same configuration. All three of these machines I'm talking about is all parallel twins, but the stroke of the piston is not the same. Torque delivery is different. Maximum peak horsepower is not at the same RPMs. This one peaks out at it'll redline at 8,500. This thing is not cheap, and I mean it both ways. It's not cheaply built. Assembly of the panels and everything, the level of fit and finish on this thing is Japanese. The Japanese level, it's really well done. Everything lines up. It's near perfect, but it's not cheap either on the price, because the entry level, Jason, the entry level machine,
24,299,
like $24,300. The one we're actually riding right now, driving. I have a tendency to say ride when I'm driving a UTV, but this one is worth 27 grand because it's the SE package. It's got different paint, different tires, different wheels, a couple of other gizmos and doodads. But it's not cheap, but it's well worth it. The thing I like about this is that it's still going to be in one piece. If you take care of it, it's still going to be in one piece and in very good condition in 5 years or so. So this is it. If you like what we do, and we couldn't be doing this stuff if you guys wouldn't be watching, please consider subscribing. This helps us a lot when you watch our stuff, the stupidities that we do. Being a subscriber and activate that bell to get the notification, it really helps us a lot. So I'm Mark, this guy over there is Jason, and we're the ATV guys, and we just had a blast with a brand new 2021 Yamaha RMAX 1000. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.